Hello! As you remember, we are reading Mrs. Dole is Out of Control. We are on chapter 10, Throwing Up. That is what happened next. Whoops. Oliver, you know what throw up is? Yeah, I know what throw up is. Okay, Oliver, you settled in? Yeah, I'm settled in. Okay, here we go. Throwing Up, chapter 10. I threw my cap like a frisbee, really high and far, and then, like a frisbee, it caught the wind and curved back around toward me. I thought it might hit me in the stage, but instead it hit the bowl that held the internal flame. The bowl fell off its stand and into the ground. My cap caught on fire, and everybody started freaking out. Quick, somebody get a fire extinguisher! Mr. Clutch yelled. Mrs. Dole went running off to look for a fire extinguisher. Meanwhile, the wind whipped and flapped, and it whipped the flame and the sparks around. And next thing we know, the congratulations graduates banner was on fire. Forget the fire extinguishers. Call the fire department. The banner was whipping around in the wind, and soon it didn't say congratulations graduates anymore. All it said was rat dates because the rest of it had burned up. Everybody was freaking out because there was sparks flying all over the place. Some of the sparks were falling on the hay in the petting zoo. Excuse me, I said to Emily. What do you want, AJ? Emily asked, like she was all annoyed. I just wanted to let you know that you're on fire, I told her. It was true. Somehow a spark must have landed on Emily's gown, and her gown was going up in flames. Emily freaked out and went running around like she was all well on fire. She was as well as on fire. What should Emily do? Stop. Which was, help me, I'm on fire, Emily screamed. Stop, drop, and roll, everybody shouted. Emily stopped, dropped, and rolled. But the only problem was that she rolled right into the table as holding the giant cake. The table topped over and the cake slid off the landing right on top of Emily. The good news was that the cake put out the fire. The bad news was that our cake was ruined. 5-second rule. 5-second rule. I shouted. And a bunch of us ran over and grabbed chunks of cakes off the playground before the 5 seconds were up. It was good, great cake. Meanwhile, in the hay on the petting zoo had ignited, and the cows and chickens and goats were mooing and squawking and freaking out. One of the cows knocked down the wood fence, and soon the animals were running around the playground. You should have been there. It was a real Kodak moment, but nobody was taking pictures because all the parents were busy trying to avoid being trampled by the cows and goats. Remain calm, screamed Mrs. Dole as she ran around spraying a fire extinguisher. Run for your lives, shouted Neil, the nude kid, as a goat chased him across the playground. I was wondering if third grade would be canceled if the school burned down, but it didn't matter because soon there were sirens coming down the street. A fire truck pulled up. An officer hopped out, and he attached a hose to a hydrant in the street and sprayed water all over the place. Everybody got soaked. I thought it was all over, but in the middle of the playground, I saw Andrea's mom and Ryan's mom yelling at each other. This is all your fault, Andrea's mom shouted. You and your stupid graduation. How was I supposed to know somebody would knock over the eternal flame, shouted Ryan's mom. The next thing we knew, the two PTA moms were wrestling each other on the ground and pulling each other's hair. And we got to see it live and in person. See, I said to Andrea, I told you PTA presidents get assassinated. Your mom is trying to kill Ryan's mom so she can become president. Mr. Klutz broke up the fight. He told us to line up near the Mrs. Daisy. Some of the parents went to round up the animals. Mrs. Daisy didn't look very good. Her hair was all messy. I don't feel very well, she said. I think I need to sit. But Mrs. Daisy never had a chance to finish her sentence because at that moment, the most amazing thing in the history of the world happened. Mrs. Daisy fainted. All right, that is chapter 10. What do you think, Oliver? That was pretty fun. Yeah, that was fun. All right, guys. Well, I think we got one chapter left. I'm pretty excited to see what happens. See you soon.